Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my studio. This is Paint with Lovejoy. Thanks so much for joining me today. In today's painting, we're doing something kind of special. We're painting this really cute one-eyed black lab mix. And his name is Blackie. He is available for adoption from Labs and Friends here in San Diego. So if you would like to adopt him, there's going to be a link below in the description box. If you want to adopt other available animals from Labs and Friends, info is going to be in the description box below. I am hoping that by the time you watch this, he has already been adopted. But he's really, really cute. He does have only one eye, so I consider that he has some superpowers, so he can see more and hear more than the average dog. And just because an animal has a different type of body part, or is missing a sense, or is even a senior dog, that doesn't mean that they don't need love. They are looking for their homes and they're looking to have a good life. So don't let one of those issues stop you from adopting an animal. Alright, so what you're going to see in this video and all my videos, in the description box below, there is going to be a link to a supply kit. And a supply kit is everything that you need to create this particular painting. So check that link below, grab the supplies that you need, and then move on to the next step. And the next step is your traceable. And a traceable is a way for my first-time and beginner painters to get their initial image on the canvas before they even start painting. And it's a good tool to utilize to take out some of those difficulty beginning steps before you even start painting. So take a look at where to acquire your traceable, and there's also going to be a link that pops up, a video on how to transfer your traceable, so check all those out. And as you're painting, especially if you're a first-time or beginner painter, I want you to look at this as practice. Just a time for you to escape the world, play with your tools, play with the paint, and get more comfortable with it. So again, don't take this seriously, get through the whole painting, and then paint again. Like I said, you will see improvements in yourself and more comfort the more that you do it. Alright, so enough talking, let's get on to painting.
Alright guys, this is going to be a fun and cute painting today, our one-eyed black lab mix. Alright, so after you've got all your supplies, make sure you take your progress photos today, and if you didn't turn on your favorite music, go ahead and do that. And once you've got your traceable transferred to your canvas or your panel, we're going to take the small pointy brush or even your liner brush, and we're going to redo all those outlines. We're going to paint our black lines on top of what you just transferred. And whichever brush that you need more practice with, the pointy brush or the liner brush, you're just going to be getting more comfortable with the pressure and applying the paint. So I want you to play with the pressure. The harder you push your brush against the canvas, the wider the line you make. The lighter you touch your brush to the canvas, the skinnier the line it's going to make. And play with those, because we will repeat this step at the end of the painting with a little bit thicker lines. So again, this is just practice right now for you to get comfortable with your brush. And as we do the eyes, you can see I filled in the pupil. You can reference your traceable for that. And once you've got your lines on there, pause the video, take your progress photo, and we're going to move into painting our background. And I am using the medium flat brush. You can also use your small flat brush if that's what you have. And I am taking that straight red, and I did add a touch of black to it, so that we have a bit more of a burgundy color. And if you moved right into painting your background after doing your outlines, and if you happen to get some of that black paint into your red from the outlining, just kind of work it into the background, since we are adding black to our red paint. If you changed your background color and are doing something different, you got your black paint in there, just wipe off that black unwanted paint with a paper towel and reapply your background. All right, so as you're painting, again, kind of play with that pressure of your brush. More pressure equals more brush strokes, more visible brush strokes. Lighter pressure, you can get a bit of a smoother effect. And with the paint that we're using today, I am using student grade paint in this video. And if that's what you're using at home, you may find that it's a bit more on the transparent side. So you may need to apply your paint a little bit thicker or apply a second coat. And I will be applying a second coat to this background. And that again just gives it a bit of a more opaque coverage and a little bit more thickness to kind of work with. So as you apply it, kind of think about icing a cake. You're applying enough pigment that you can kind of move your brush back and forth and fill in the space. All right, and this is usually everybody's favorite part, just moving the paint in the background, so enjoy it. So applying my second layer of a little bit thicker red paint, just right on top of what I already painted. And you'll notice that as I start to apply this, when I want to smooth it out, I kind of bring my brush in sideways. Right now it's kind of perpendicular to the canvas, but coming in kind of sideways is more like icing that cake and kind of smoothing it out, because it's the ends of the bristles that show up when we move our brush. There we go. There we go. I'm applying it a little bit more, kind of coming in sideways, almost at like a 45-degree angle to the canvas compared to a 90-degree angle. And again, that just kind of helps smooth out some of those brush strokes. Don't go too crazy of trying to get a perfectly smooth background. That will come with more practice and time as you paint more. A little bit of texture, a little bit of movement in the paint gives it a bit more of a painterly feel, a bit more expressive feel. So if you all happen to be a perfectionist, this is good to kind of push your comfort zone and embrace it. It's just paint. All right, so pause the video, take your progress photo, and we're going to be moving into the small flat brush and black paint. This is a black dog, but what you're going to notice is that we're going to paint him in shades of dark gray. Because if we painted the whole thing just solid black, it would just ultimately be kind of an odd silhouette of a dog. So to create this illusion of a 3D object, we are painting a black object in shades of dark gray. And for my first time and beginner painters, what I want you to do with these videos is utilize the pause section. Every time I mention to pause the video, you're going to be facilitating your power of observation. And I want you to look at where I applied the black shapes, or where I applied the black paint and the shapes that they make, even if it's kind of a weird, kind of organic or weird shape. And I want you to just look at that and try to mimic it as close as possible on your painting. If you make some of the shapes larger or smaller or even a different shape than what I paint, that's okay. Work it into your painting and then kind of embrace that. What I paint here is just a general guideline. I encourage you to trust your instincts. And if you feel like painting different colors or painting a different shape, try it. If you end up not liking it later on, you can let it dry and paint right on top of it again. But that's why I say there's no right or wrong way to paint. The only wrong way to paint is to not paint at all, to not try. And again, if you're holding your breath right now, take a deep breath. You are doing a good job. You're doing better than you think you are right now. And again, the progress pictures for this video are important because I want you to go back and look at those pictures and notice how much this painting changes as we get rid of this white canvas space. It's kind of, again, that's why the progress pictures are so cool, to go back and look at how it evolves, to have that visual documentation. You're doing good. Again, I'm proud of you just for painting at home. It takes a lot of courage to do this. If you do have questions about the painting, leave them in the comments below and I will reply, or feel free to email me at paintwithlovejoy@gmail.com. You're doing good. Keep painting. Finish this all the way through. Don't stop in the middle. All right, pause the video, take your progress photo, and then we're going to be moving into dark gray. So I'm going to take a chunk of that black and add some white to it. And again, we're going for dark gray. I want it to be a few steps down from the black paint. And again, you may have to adjust once you apply some of this color to your painting. You may need to make it darker or lighter, so feel free to adjust that. Like here, I'm going to add a little bit more white, just because there's not a huge distinction. There we go. And again, we're going to be placing this in a majority of the area of our remaining space, and then we'll do one more shade of lighter gray. And if you happen to overlap some of the black spaces you just painted, that's okay. And if you're painting kind of quick on the swift side and your first color is still wet, feel free to blend the black into the dark gray as you apply this next color. If you would like to paint a brown dog or a white dog, you can switch out any of these colors with 3 shades of brown, a dark brown, medium brown, and a light brown, or 3 shades of light gray, ending with white to paint a white animal. Or if you feel like getting kind of even crazy colors, you can paint this in shades of blue or shades of purple. Again, get expressive and creative, and you only know what you're capable of once you try. All right, you're doing a good job. Breathe and relax, and hopefully you'll find that by the time you're done with the painting, you're more relaxed and hopefully less stressed than you were before you started the painting. If you happen to stress out about the actual painting, be kind to yourself. You are learning something for the first time, or you're just getting more comfortable with your tools, so there's going to be a learning curve. You're not going to be perfect right out the gate. And be kind to yourself as you're learning that. And as you continue to paint, we really should never kind of compare what we paint to somebody else, but compare it to what you painted prior to that painting. So if this is your first time painting, awesome. And the next time that you paint, I want you to do a little bit better than you did on this painting. And then when you paint again, do a little bit better than you did on the prior painting. Because everybody's got a different skill set. And you're just improving yourself. You're not improving others, you're just improving you. Alright, so pause the video, take your progress photo, and we're going to move down to a little bit lighter, a medium gray. And you can see that I actually just take the white and mix it right on top of the pile that we were just using. So I want you to go down 2 shades from the gray that you were using. So it may be slightly different than the color I use on the video. And we're going to be filling in kind of the remaining space and then adding some more shades on top of the nose. And again, if you're holding your breath or a little bit tense, take a deep breath. You are doing a great job. And if you are able to kind of blend in with the darker grays you were just painting, go right ahead and do that. And again, hopefully this guy will be adopted by the time that you watch this video. But if you would like to adopt him or another animal that needs a home from Labs and Friends, check the links below. And when you're looking to adopt an animal, just because it may be a senior animal or a special needs animal, they still need lots of love, and they are just adorable and fun little creatures. I've got some friends that have a lot of special needs animals, and they have such big hearts, and they bring so much love and joy to her world. So those of you that do adopt the special needs animals, thank you. And I always feel like that, you know, when an animal or even a person is missing a body part, an eyeball or a sense or hearing or can't speak, that just strengthens some of their other areas that they are really strong in. It doesn't make them any less whole, it just makes them even more unique and with their own special superpowers. Alright, so pause the video, take your progress photo, and we're going to go back to the dark gray, and we're going to fill in the rest of his nose. And he's a cute little puppy. I don't know how old he is in this picture, but I think he's going to have a very vibrant and full life with lots of kisses and lots of smiles for whoever he went home with. Alright, so most of our painting should be filled in except for the eyes and the tongue space. And we're actually going to go back to a little bit lighter gray. So again, I'm just kind of pulling some of that white on top of the mixture we were just using. And we're going to be placing this lighter gray on top of our other shades of gray. And again, if it's wet, you'll notice that it kind of blends in with the color underneath. So feel free to adjust your shade or reapply as needed. And again, pretty cool that even though this is a black dog, we're creating a really good illusion with about 4 shades of dark gray, or darker gray. And again, these highlights that I'm putting on right now with the lighter gray, just a kind of a general area. You don't have to place them exactly where I place them, but just get them in that general area. Take a deep breath. You're doing a great job. Takes a lot of courage to paint at home, so I'm really proud of you. And I encourage that you watch videos and try different paintings from a variety of the YouTubers out there creating videos like this. Take the parts that work for you from each instructor and forget the rest. Kind of create your style, what works for your creative efforts. And again, you can learn something new from different teachers. Alright, pause the video, take your progress photo, and we're going to clean the brush and we're going to make a light pink. So we're going to pull a little bit of that white aside, add a touch of red to make our shade of pink. And you can make your pink as intense or as light as you want. And we're going to fill in that whole space where his tongue is. Nice. And then we're going to add a touch of black to our pink to make kind of a dark grayish pink. And we're going to give the impression that there's a bit of a shadow as the tongue moves back into the mouth. And you'll paint this right on top of the pink you just painted. Alright, so Now we're actually going to move over to the burnt sienna, and we're going to fill in the pupil, or fill in the eye color of our one-eyed black lab mix. You're going to fill in that whole space. There you go. Then we're going to grab a touch of white. Now we're going to grab a touch of white, and we're actually just going to place it kind of on that right hand side and underneath, right on top of that raw sienna. And then wipe your brush off so that way you have what we call a dry brush. And then you're going to mix the two together, that raw sienna underneath with that little bit of white. And you'll see how it kind of changes colors. This part is totally optional. You can leave it as the raw sienna if you feel like it. And now we're going to go back to black paint, and we're going to reapply some of our black shadows on our dog here. And again, we'll be painting right on top of our shades of gray, and we'll be outlining the eye, and then we'll be doing our final outlines in the next step. So by going back to adding this black, I tell all my students that painting is kind of like a conversation that you have with your canvas. We put on almost 3 to 4 different shades of dark gray to kind of create this illusion that we have a 3D object on here. And then now we're at what we call the underpainting, where all that canvas space is filled in. What we're doing now is going back to any of those values, which we're working on the dark values right now, and reapplying those to kind of intensify that this is a black dog and increase our contrast. And as you paint this up close, it may seem kind of chunky and weird shapes and not blended, especially if your first layers are already dry. I'm going to recommend that you get out of your chair, walk about 10 feet away from your painting, and look at it from that distance. And everything looks entirely different from that distance than it does up close. So some of these funky shapes that you're making with the black may look too funky up close, but actually look okay as you step away from the painting. And as you paint, we do have to remember that paintings are observed generally from that distance of 10 to 20 feet away. So while we paint, we have to go back to that distance, that normal viewing vantage point, and assess our painting from there. And again, that's why it's a conversation, because you may see something from that distance that you need to adjust that you wouldn't have seen because you're sitting so close to it. And then usually the joke that I give at this point is, don't fight your canvas. Your canvas will always win. So if it wants to go in a direction and you're not quite wanting to go in that direction, embrace it. That happens to be part of your style for today. You can always paint this again and try to steer it in the direction you originally wanted. But again, listen to the canvas. And the more that you paint, the more you will be comfortable with kind of that conversation and even the observation of how you're painting. You'll be more comfortable at looking at it and realizing what you might need to change or adjust. Again, that all comes from practice. All right, so we're going to outline that eye. Give him some little eyeliner. Again, just kind of defines that shape of the eye and draws our attention to the eye. And remember to breathe and relax. You've made it this far already. You're doing a great job. And who would have thought that a black dog would have this many shades of gray? So as you do the pupil, if you happen to paint over that white catchlight, that white dot, you can reapply that white dot when we move to the white paint in the next couple of steps. Alright, pause the video, take your progress photo, and now we're going to move into doing those outlines. So I'd say the small pointy brush, black paint, and like I said, we're going to redo all those outlines that we did at the beginning of the painting. And again, you can reference your traceable to see the exact placement of those lines. When we do these particular lines, I am going to encourage you to paint them a little bit thicker than you did at the beginning. So that way it gives it a bit of that pop art feel, and you kind of want to overlap a little bit of your pet colors with the background as you do these lines. So that's why we're making them a little bit thicker. And again, this kind of gives it kind of a nice pop art feel. Style, as we call it. If you need to add a little bit of water to your black paint to help with the fluidity, go ahead and do that. And just remember, you never want your brush dripping wet with water. Alright, doing good. He's coming to life nicely. And he's going to be adopted and in his happy home with a good loving family and a good life. Alright, so now we're going to go back to that light gray. Maybe a little bit lighter than the first light gray that we made. And we're going to put some select highlights here. Again, just kind of observe where I place them. And just get yours in that general area. Doesn't have to be exact. Alright, now we're going for white. I'm going to reapply that catch light if needed. And then put a few extra little white highlights. And again, just kind of observe where they are placed. Them on the nose, underneath the nostrils, a little bit on the tongue, and we'll be placing some in a few other areas. Again, I'm just making little dots, little dash marks, being kind of sparing with this. Again, remember to look at your painting from that distance and assess how you're liking the white, if it's too much, if it needs to be toned down a little bit. Alright, good job, you guys. Thanks so much for painting with me today. I hope you enjoyed the process. And if you'd like to see this painting with a little bit of flair added to it, check out the link below for another video, short little video on adding those extra colors. So, have a great day. Cheers.
Hey guys, I hope your little black labs turned out really cute. If you're uploading these to social media, please tag me, #paintwithlovejoy, or email them to me, paintwithlovejoy@gmail.com. I really like to see what you guys are painting at home, how the process is going for you, and if I need to adjust anything on how I'm presenting the information for you. So please leave feedback, let me see your final images, and keep painting and having fun. For this particular painting, if you would like to add extra colors or more flair to it, I do have another video, and the link will be popping up, on adding those extra colors to your painting. And when you do that one, you can switch out any of the colors that you like. So check out that video if you're interested. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, do that, leave feedback. If you would like me to continue these videos, consider becoming one of my patron supporters. For as little as $2 a month, that can actually help me continue to make these videos, because it is kind of time consuming and the costs kind of add up over time. So, alright, so again, thanks for taking time out of your day to paint with me. I'm proud of you. I want you to keep painting, and you will get better the more that you practice. So, have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Cheers. Hey guys, how's it going? Let's try that again. Plane pause. I'll keep moving from there. So again, thanks for taking time for the plane.